Hello and welcome everyone. This is a blockchain hackathon entry project and it is named Money LNB. Here LNB stands for lending and borrowing. I'll walk you through the presentation as well as the working demo in of course bits and pieces that I'm able to do so far. I hope you like the presentation. First, I want to introduce you to the features that I'll be using. It will be implementing IPFS, or rather using IPFS as a hosting platform, and a brand new consensus mechanism is been thought of that requires fingerprint sensor. In the demo project, I'll be using uport to check the identity in a sovereign, decentralized manner that uport guarantees. First thing first, I want to give review of how the blockchain technology is changing with the invention of the decentralized internet again. And as you can see in the graph, 17% of the banks are in the forefront of the revolution, and these include some of the banks of UAE, and you will see that the 13% of the banks are just looking into the technology now. They are not doing anything about it, but largest percentage, that is 30% of the banks, are checking out proof of concepts with companies so that they can implement the blockchain technology into their platform. And the plan, of course, of Money LNB is very ambitious, and you will come to know that after going through this presentation, that we aim at capturing the market of micro lending by the end of 2020, and we also aim to release our own authentication protocol to bypass the traditional OTP based transaction approval that we do currently, and we want to replace it with our own technology that we call proof of secret handshake, and that is a consensus algorithm basically that uses fingerprint that is already a very important human verification object in terms of persons who cannot read or write or who cannot sign their own documents. In many countries, including India, people use the fingerprint to authenticate a person, even in real life. And this is what this slide explains you. It explains you about the feature that we are gonna implement using this proof of secret handshake consensus algorithm that is basically global unique time thumb hashed approval technology that is supposed to be built up to provide security and an additional layer of security apart from what uport gives you. And it will become a lot clear when I show you the demo that where it will exactly be implemented in a part of a working dApp. So a brief about the proof of secret handshake is being talked about in this slide, and it basically means that just like when you meet an old friend, you have a secret handshake that you always apply with that old friend. Similarly, if you are approving of a transaction, you have to do a timed thumb impression technique that will be flashing on your screen, and you have to press the fingerprint sensor for that much amount of time and follow a special sequence of those fingerprint that are timed, and that will be later on hashed and used to add a new entry to the existing blockchain only after the proof of secret handshake is. So we already have a little bit idea of what POS mechanism is, and to implement it successfully we have to have a image of fingerprint of both lender and borrower stored in some decentralized way, which will be assisted, of course, using interplanetary file system IPFS technology. So that is in fact a huge task, and development of such a system in such a small time scale is not possible. And also the reputation management system that we are trying to implement in this DApp, like decentralized app that we want to create, that is Money LNB. So we want to have this reputation management system that is also maintained on interplanetary file system, so that we have a profile and all the data rich sources on an interplanetary file system, and we don't have to have uh, data rich transactions happen in the Ethereum blockchain, so that we don't use much gas. And what the about the timeline I want to talk specifically is that these things is gonna take time, and a fully released version of such a DApp will only be possible by the end of 2019, mainly because of development of technologies like IPFS, and also other relevant technologies like Ethereum uh, transaction time, etc. So this will take some time, and also the POS, like proof of secret handshake consensus mechanism, needs to be well thought of and implemented on a mobile device, and that will take a lot of development time. The current demo or proof of concept that I'm gonna show to you will include many of the pre-installed apps. Some of them are Truffle, that is already installed in my terminal using my terminal, and a app that launches Ethereum RPC in your computer easily is Ganache, that I have already installed. And MetaMask is basically a plugin for Chrome browser, so that you can view the transactions happening. So it's a it's a plugin basically that lets you view decentralized app. So these things are already been installed by me. I'll just show you how I go about launching my DApp. So first I need terminal. I'll be pulling on my terminal, and so that all of you have a better view of what I'm trying to do, I'm checking into my directory, that is truffle box, and here I have few of the projects like MetaCoin and login-uport. So login-uport will basically launch a DApp that manages user login using uport, and I'm gonna change to uport login directly, change to that DApp directory. Now over here, because I have already got the things unboxed and ready to be launched, I won't be doing truffle unbox, but here I'll be just compiling the source. So truffle compile, and as you can see it has compiled. Next thing I will be doing is to launch the local ER, like local blockchain based on Ethereum using Ganache, and as soon as it is launched I can do the next task, that is truffle migrate. So while it is launching, and you can see over here the number of current blocks is 0, and let us just migrate our compiled dApp to the blockchain we just launched using. So we have compiled using truffle compile. We'll test it, truffle test, so that we know all the contracts are working fine. And as we have tested it, you will come to see that the block number has been increased. It's currently 5 block, and that means basically that this act of adding contracts to the blockchain has been successful, and each of the contracts that has been deployed to the Ethereum blockchain now has some address to it. And now I'll simply do npm start to start the local web server. So as you can see, this dApp basically is hosted on my local node, and I have launched it using npm start. And here it talks about the uport authentication, that is decentralized self-sovereign identity verification. And I'll just give you a website look of the uport authentication, that is uport.me, the homepage of the uport website, that basically talks about open identity system for the decentralized web, as you can see. And using this I have built a app that is available on developer.uport.me that lets me basically sign in using my phone, and that lets me sign into the dApp, that the proof of concept we have created of the dApp. And if you just go to the register app section in this and go to the app manager, I'm currently being directed to my app manager page, and I have these these dApps that have been created that requires uport sign in function. So money LNB I have used, like I have created few of those, and this basically is the uport identification channel that allows me to use this and basically interact after the login has been authenticated using my phone. And if you want to update something about this dApp, then you have to go to this channel of scanning the QR code using your current using your phone, and then you can update this. But right now I cannot update it. I want to use the same version with this truffle, with this project of money lending and borrowing. And this is it. Like after logging in, this code can be used to access user information data from uport Android app. And to basically do this, you have to just install Android app on your phone now, and click on login with uport button, and then scan this QR code to go to the profile page that it redirects to if you use your uport app to scan it. And basically that profile page is something of a work in development right now. What I would like to show you next is the other end of the project, that is basically lending the money to someone who needs it using our platform. After you log in and your reputation is being managed, then how that page will look like. And that page is basically the backbone of our app. It will help you send money as a lender to someone, and that receiver, that borrower, is borrower hash will be displayed or can be chosen from your end to whomever you want to like select to lend your money. And for that I'll change my current working directory to metacoin. That is kind of a app, like decentralized lending page that I have created, and the transaction of those will again be saved on the local blockchain. So let me just run it for you. So truffle compile, so that will essentially let me compile this thing for you. And now truffle test, so that I have some proof that all the contracts are correctly compiled. And over here you can see the number of blocks are 5 right now. And now because it has been compiled, the number of current blocks are 11 now. So now all I have to do is npm run dev, npm run dev, so that it launches a local server. And actually everything seems to have compiled correctly, and although it haven't launched a local server, so I'll launch the local server from my browser. And as you can see, you are in the lending page over here, and you will see that the current balance is like, in fact no balance is there. And I think to make balance available, I will have to connect it to the local network on which our blockchain is hosted, that is 7545. So in the MetaMask I have chosen the 7545 as a local host, and as soon as I do that, you can see my account balance is changed with to 9,990. Although 10,000 MLB is initially provided to each account, but I have used some for testing purposes. So, and in this account 2, let's see how much of the MLB is present in account 2 when I change my account in MetaMask. And let us refresh the page, and you see it just have 10 MLB I just have 10 MLB in this account. So basically these tokens MLB are money lending and borrowing coins that we are talking about, and the fictitious rate I have chosen is one, like money MNB coin is equal to 1 rupee. So, and that is what our token A talks about in the presentation, so I'll let you know. But let me just go through the mm, to the walkthrough of how this interacts with the how you can interact with this page. And I have to type in an account uh, first. So I have chosen up like 20. So I'm gonna refresh this page, and because I have 210 MLB in this, I will copy this account hash address, and I'll go to first account. Let's refresh it again. It's 9790 now because I have used some for testing. So I'm gonna transfer 200 MLB to the account 2 address we have. And in this video demo of the DApp, we are not following the POS pattern of fingerprint POS pattern using fingerprint sensor, but instead I have made this button so that I can directly show you that the transaction is recorded on the blockchain. And if I click submit, as you can see, the transaction is complete, and in the blockchain you have 13 blocks now. So let's just let us just do a transaction of 200 100, but refresh it again so that we have the new account. So we have to transact 100, and I want you to specifically note the block ID in this. So the current block is 300, and I'm gonna transfer 100 MLB, and again I'm going to use MetaMask. So like I'm using MetaMask, and I'm gonna approve the requested transaction, and the transaction is complete. And as you can see, number of blocks is 14 now. This completes our demo of the lending page, and as you can see, it is recording the transactions on an open ledger blockchain, and that's it. That is how much I'm been able to make till now. Let us jump back to our presentation. So this what steps I have already taken, I have shown it to you using the demo video. And this slide over here talks about the platform and how in general it will work. And over here it is saying that the lenders, after getting their registration done with KYC, or the alternative way of registration could be using a geo SIM card that will automatically certify, like provide a pseudo registration or a easier way to register with the money LNB blockchain. But that is something that can be looked after. So lenders who have already registered with the KYC or maybe biometric, including the biometric, are represented by this lenders list of L1, L2, L3, and the borrowers in a similar way are sorted in borrower 1, borrower 2, borrower 3. The borrowers request some certain amount, and it is the requested amount along with the tenure and acceptable rate along with the reputation is put to the IPFS in the form of a project that has these things in it that can be viewed by any one of the lenders, and can and also lender has the ability to propose a disagreed new amount or tenure or rate, or have the option of choosing one of the project which suits uh, their demand of tenure and interest rate and risk level based on the reputation of the proposed borrower. And if these conditions are matched either by preference by lender or by automatic match provided in a hosted website by IPFS. So if suppose lender 2 is in match with borrower 3 and they are ready to do the transaction, the first step is for them will be to log in using uport or their geo registered number, and then doing a proof of secret handshake or angutha mechanism with their Android phone. Uh, and in this case, the borrower, who is basically a farmer or someone who is not very literate, will be benefited using the uh, secret handshake mechanism just by using fingerprint, and that will also make the borrower kind of liable to pay back the money because they have provided their fingerprint in a secured manner. And all this proof of secret handshake, when carried over successfully, a new block will be added to the Ethereum blockchain representing the transaction that we did using this kind of uh, verification. But instead of pressing the button over here in actual DApp, of proof of secret handshake will be carried out. And as you can see, again the transaction is met, and the block number has increased. And uh, that is what this slides explain. And because all the data heavy resources like like the images of the profile, like lenders and borrowers and their account information and their reputation that are you know ever changing, is recorded with on the IPFS, and also the images that are provided during the KYC of their fingerprints are stored. And because this is distributed network, it's the chances of it getting stolen is mm, very less, and this will make the system a lot secure. Uh, Being decentralized and hosted on IPFS. This is basically the things that a user can do, and user can be lender and borrower, and these are the sort of functions that they can carry out over our platform. And the ecosystem will use a special mechanism called market mean rates to provide sort of free market rates to both lending and borrowing, and this will increase the competition, and this mean market mean rates will be determined by our IPFS hosted website based on the pool of data from lenders and borrowers available to them, and also weightage will be provided to the successful transactions, and how much rate they have agreed upon with each other. So this MMR is something, again, one of the things that needs to be developed for a complete DApp. And this slide explains the token economy of such a DApp, and in this it is talking about two kinds of token, A and B, and basically the slides over here is explaining that token A will be fixed with a fiat currency, and token B will be something that is inherent to the ecosystem, and people, if they use this token B more, then the value of token B will be increased. Otherwise it will be around the value same as the token A. Initially it might be even less value, a lot less value than token A, but token A is supposed to be fixed with the fiat currency, that is rupee, for our sake. And this was the brief uh, introduction to the blockchain entry that uh, I'm competing for, and I want to really thank these website links over here to help me complete this project. I hope you guys liked it, and this will be a easy peasy for a company like Geo, because they already have people using their number, and that way they can provide an initial proxy verification of lenders and borrowers, and their scalability is not an issue using IPFS, but reaching out to remote places will be really easy for Geo if we can somehow do this registration with KYC bypassed if someone is already using a Geo mobile phone. So that's it. Thank you for having a listen